Hi everyone, I'm Brij and this is my review of the play Misery, which was played at the LA Theatre in Houston. But before I talk about the play, let me tell you how I almost didn't make it to the play. It's a Houston summer evening, and which basically means it's a sauna outside. I'm heading out. I realized I forgot my keys. I run back, and now I am 10 minutes behind. And the ticket station is about to close, and therefore I need to make up the time. I'm sprinting I'm sprinting on my bike through downtown Houston and I'm drenched in sweat to go see a psychological thriller about a man who can't leave his room. I walk into the alley theater with a sweaty t-shirt and shorts, and everyone else is dressed like it's an occasion. Nice jacket, elegant perfume. Everyone has a hairstyle. These people made a serious effort coming here, and it was a evening for them. I looked like someone who just, I looked like the protagonist who just escaped from the play. Some quick facts. Misery is Stephen King's novel, adapted for stage by William Goldman, the same screenwriter who wrote the famous 1990 film. This production was at LA Theatre, which is one of the oldest professional companies of Houston. It was directed by Brandon Weinbrenner, and here's the detail that blew my mind. Annie Wilkes and Paul Sheldon, who are played by Elizabeth Bunch and Chris Hutchison, they are married in real life. I would have never thought about that while they were performing. They looked like the characters they were performing. So this blew my mind when I got to know it. She spends the whole play holding her actual husband hostage, and the third cast member was Christopher Salazar, who plays the local sheriff. The story goes like this. There is a famous romance novelist, Paul Sheldon, who has a famous character named Misery, which is um, Wilkins' favorite character. And so Paul Sheldon crashes his car in a snowstorm and is rescued by Annie Wilkins, his supposedly number one fan. She is a nurse who calls herself number one fan, but when she finds out that Paul Sheldon killed Misery in the latest edition of his new book, his care for Paul turns into obsession and captivity, and now Paul has to write and bring back Misery, otherwise he loses his life. I'm giving it a 4.5 star out of 5. Full disclosure, this was my first play, and I had never been to a theater performance ever, so I have nothing to compare it to. But here's the thing, I couldn't even compare to anything anyway. I went in expecting something like a movie, but worse because it was played live. But it was like a movie, but better. The half star, I'm holding back a few small things. The side seats have genuinely compromised sidelines, so I would not recommend anyone taking the side seat. Pay a little extra and get the front row, so it's better. And yeah, the water bottle was $6, so holding little bit of the star for that as well. However, the bartender did give me a free cup of water when I refused to purchase the $6 bottle of water. What stunned me was the care for every little detail. The deep red seats, live piano drifting through the lobby, the welcome announcement in different languages, Hindi, Korean, Namaste, and the phrase they choose, even in different languages, was very intentional. Theater people really put thought and life into every detail, even the program. As a computer science student, I am very utility oriented. If it works, ship it, just bare bones. But this was opposite of my philosophy, and it was very refreshing that people can put uh, thought and detail into many things. The set is the star after the actors, a rotating stage that turns Annie's farmhouse, bedroom, kitchen, exterior into a rotating. platform, and it feels like the story itself is closing in on Paul and keeping Paul in the same house. And the acting, I don't have words to say about the acting. I sat close enough to see everything, and at no point did I felt like they were acting. Bunch and Hutchinson fully dissolved into these people, into the character they were performing feet away from an audience, and still it felt like there was no audience, and I was just wiring into someone's life, peeking through the window. How does anyone hold that many lines, that much tension, and that with no second take was just amazing. It felt like an impossible feat, but they executed it perfectly and calmly. That was just mind-boggling to me. There was a moment where I realized I had completely dissolved into the scene. There was no thought, no me. There was just scene, and I was just captured by the scene and the play. I study some philosophy, and people try to meditate and perform different things to lose their ego. But apparently, you can watch a good live theater and just be completely lost into it. Who should see this? Honestly, the audience was skewed towards older folks, lots of well dressed retired couples. But I think that's a shame because this show is exactly the type of show that I would recommend to young people who think that theater is boring. This show was not boring at all. If you like thriller, if you like Stephen King's, or simply you have never seen a live play, and you don't know where to start, I think this is the best place to start. Uh, it genuinely blew my mind, and just maybe it's not for squeamish people. There's a scene involving Paul's ankle that the front row experiences very deeply. I went into the theater to complete an assignment, and I came out with a new hobby. After I completed the show, the next day I went on their website and looked for the next show of another play they had and just booked the ticket for that. Theater is a new thing for me now, I guess. I would genuinely prefer I would genuinely prefer plays over movies. And thank you, Professor Baitov, for presenting this opportunity and pushing us to have an assignment where we are required to see a play. I think I would have never seen a live theater or paid for tickets if I had a choice, and I would have missed the pleasure and the joy of theater for the whole life. So thank you for that. And I'm looking forward to the next play that I'm going to watch on July 24th. It's, I think it's The Train, something like that. I don't remember, but thank you for that.